So there's a group of media cretins that we'll call the Trump Defense Industrial Complex. And, man, they've been working overtime. Now, look, to be fair, I think this sort of exists on the Democratic side as well for Biden. There are plenty of hacks who are willing to pretend like, bro, he's totally of sound mind. He's not sundowning at all. I don't know what you're talking about. But they usually their strategy to just don't acknowledge any of that. Like, don't talk about any of it. Don't show any of it. Just pretend like it's not the case. So it's sort of like an out of sight, out of mind type approach when it comes to the Biden defense people. For the Trump people, man, they're a different breed. They go above and beyond. They will show you a clip of his gaffe and be like, that wasn't even a gaffe, bro. And this is a great example of it right here. So Greg Kelly, who I'm convinced is doing a bit, like this isn't a real guy who has real opinions. He's doing a bit. He's going to talk about the recent Trump gaffe where he repeatedly mistook Nancy Pelosi for Nikki Haley. And everybody talked about this and covered this and all that. Well, he's got an amazing defense for you. Watch this.
All right, you're about to see the fake news version of the worst flub in the world. Now, they know it's not the worst flub, it's not the worst gaffe, but they say Trump made it, so it must be really, really bad. I don't think it is that bad, and actually might even be great, as in it's not a gaffe, might have been exactly what he wanted to say.
Come on, homie. Come on, man. Trump's gaffes actually aren't gaffes. They're actually great and perfect. Have you considered that?
When he seemed to say Nikki Haley when he meant Nancy Pelosi. Take a look.
By the way, they never report the crowd on January 6th. You know, Nikki Haley, you know, did you know they destroyed all of the information, all of the evidence, everything, deleted and destroyed all of it, because of lots of things. Like Nikki Haley is in charge of security. We offered her 10,000 people, soldiers, National Guard, whatever they want. They turned it down. They don't want to talk about that.
All right, let's pretend for a moment, now I don't think this is the case, that he made a genuine mistake here, that this was a gaffe. Tired or whatever, sure, right? Campaigning, having to defend himself in crazy trials all over the place. But let's look at the names for a second. Nancy Pelosi and Nikki Haley, all right? They both start with N's. They both end in vowels, both the first name and the last name. The names arguably are rather similar, okay?
Oh, bro. Bro, you're not even trying.
But I think he actually meant to say Nikki Haley.
Of course.
He said it on purpose.
Yeah,
and the fake news fell for it.
The former South Carolina governor openly questioning Mr. Trump's mental fitness over...
We discussed the irony of this guy going after the fake news. Like, you are the fakest of the fake news.
Weekend. That after he confused Haley for former Democratic House Speaker Nancy Pelosi during one of his rallies.
Trump confused Nikki Haley for House Speaker Emerita Nancy Pelosi.
Was Trump just having a senior moment when he confused Republican rival Nikki Haley with former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi?
And it happened again, this weekend, when he repeatedly confused Haley with former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi.
All right, but here's the deal. They all had to say later in their reports that it was Nancy Pelosi who was offered the 10,000 troops. It was Nancy Pelosi who was actually charged with security. So that, in a way, affected the message that he wanted out there. Because when he says Nancy Pelosi was in charge of security, nobody pays any attention. But when he says Nikki Haley is, and he said Nikki Haley 3 times, I don't know. What do you think? It's kind of like when he said, we're going to build a wall and Mexico is going to pay for it.
We will build a great wall along the southern border, and Mexico will pay for the wall.
So he repeated that, as you know, all throughout the country. And when he said Mexico is going to pay for it, suddenly that became the debatable part. Is Mexico? How could that ever work? People weren't debating the wall part. He's actually advancing his argument. And guess what? He got a lot of the wall done. And if they didn't try to sabotage his administration, I think he could have finished it, and he'll finish it next time. Look, could have been just confusing the names, but I have a feeling he was up to something else, something a lot more sophisticated.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I mean, these guys are the most sycophantic slugs I've ever seen in my life. By the way, when Trump did try to say, well, Nancy Pelosi was responsible for security on January 6th, that was covered by the media. When he talked about building a wall, even when he didn't say the Mexico part, that was covered by the media. So your whole theory is completely bogus because they covered it either way. So they'll cover it. If Trump farts, they cover it. So it's not like, man, because he said the Nikki Haley part, that's what made them cover. That's not true at all. And by the way, just so everybody understands, of course, it's factually untrue that Nancy Pelosi, I hate Nancy Pelosi, she was not responsible for security on January 6th, and Trump did not say, I'm going to send 10,000 National Guard, and she said, no, I would like to be in more danger. That didn't happen. But look at how sycophantic. Look, it is true. Trump oftentimes says things for attention that are outrageous on purpose. Like he says the most bombastic thing to get a reaction. Of course that's true. Like when he said immigrants are poisoning the blood of our country, like paraphrasing Adolf Hitler. Yeah, he knew what he was doing. He did it on purpose. But you know what else happens? The 77-year-old is not fully cognitively there anymore. How would this guy spin? What was the story we covered the other day? Trump said he had a real bad moment the other day where he said, we are an institute in the midst of a powerful death penalty, right? It was something like that. We covered it. Go watch the segment. But he'd like just massive, like very Biden-esque kind of moment where it's just like, I can't even try to put together what you're saying. Like it is so out there and wrong and makes no sense that even if I try my best to steel man it, I got nothing, right? Was that part of his brilliant plan as well? Like, no, he's 77 years old. He's high as balls on Provigil or Adderall or whatever the fuck it is. He's probably doing his third rally of the day. He's up there sweaty and moist and sloppy and beefy. And he just starts fucking having diarrhea of the mouth. I mean, that's what it is, right? I mean, you're allowed to like him, but also acknowledge that he could be a fucking moron and he can mess up. You're allowed to do that. You know that, right? But no. For these guys, it is all in. It is all in. So here's, look at the genius of Trump. He messed up 14 different things, but you know what? He messed them up on purpose. So he's great. He's amazing. We love him. Brilliant. Intelligent. Sophisticated. That's the word this guy is. Very sophisticated of Trump. If you are calling this sophisticated from, there's literally nothing you won't call sophisticated or glorious or great or amazing. I mean, this is the level we're at with this is like that North Korean TV. Our wonderful dear leader has delivered yet again, and everything is perfect. Like, that's where we're at. That's where we're at. Again, I can't believe we're going through this in 2024 yet again, but we are. He's the favorite to win the presidency. It is true. And you're going to have to deal with 4 more years of shit like this. All right, guys, that's the show. You know the plugs, you know the drill, you fill it in. You know, I don't even want to go through them, but everybody please like the video, subscribe to the channel, click that bell icon so you get a notification every single time a video drops, all that fun stuff. You can support the show on Patreon, link below. You can tip on YouTube with the thanks button, blah, 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 blah. I love y'all very much. By the way, thank you to everybody who does fund this show. Couldn't do it without you. We've never talked to an advertiser. I'm very proud of that fact. You guys help fund it from the ground up. Seriously, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. All right, I love y'all, and I'll talk to you next time. Peace. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.